statements in the record, and Mr. Secretary, I just want to make sure USA does the same. My personal opinion is that the administration blundered badly by staying away when our leadership was needed most. Now, whether it's because the president was preoccupied in the war on terrorism, or did not want to be identified with a policy that his predecessor was so deeply engaged in, or that they were concerned they may be drawn into a quagmire that could end in failure, it was a big mistake.
And that we stayed away and were preoccupied by other matters. We encouraged the Israelis to participate with Senator Mitchell's group, and they did, and we came out with a very fine report that gave us a blueprint of a way to move forward. And we pressed hard to get both sides to enter into that blueprint plan, and unfortunately we were not successful, but it wasn't because we weren't trying. And we were not successful, and they were not successful. The failure was theirs, not ours, but we couldn't get the violence down. We tried again with the tenant work plan, and we sided with, frankly, the Israeli side here by saying that you had to have security. You had to have some confidence that you were not going to have your citizens blown up in suicide bombs or other kinds of terrorist activities, and that Prime Minister Sharon had been elected to office on the basis of his commitment to provide security to the Israeli people. We understood that, and we worked with both sides trying to get the violence down. I have seen statements, the violence has gone down, and Assistant Secretary Bill Burns went in and also took a look to give us an independent assessment from somebody I have confidence in, Assistant Secretary of State, and he says there was quite a level of destruction that had occurred within the Jenin camp, and it seemed to be in the best interest of all concerned, especially the best interests of the Israelis, to let a fact-finding team come in and see what the facts are, as opposed to the kinds of coarse speculation that was out there as to what happened, with terms being tossed around like massacre or mass graves, none of which so far seems to be the case. And that's why we think it's important to get a fact-finding team.
Yeah, it seems to.
I think he can still do more as a leader of the people, and as we get out of this current crisis where we start to see the completion of the Israeli withdrawal, which the President has called for, and we start to try to work security issues again with the Palestinian and the Israeli sides, I've made it clear to Chairman Arafat that if we don't see deeds match action, there isn't much more the United States is going to be able to do for him.
Are you troubled that as
the purchase of condoms within the Agency for International, close, dear friend of Israel, but also as a friend of the Palestinian people, because they need